Today is National Vietnam War Veterans Day, honoring all those who served more than 50 years ago. Here's One America's Zach Peterson.
In the mid-60s, the United States actively engaged in South Vietnam's struggle for freedom. America's involvement grew incrementally from the late 1950s, but conflict erupted from the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and combat units were deployed in July of 1965. American troops spent the next decade fighting on rough terrain in canopy jungles against the North Vietnamese, who were supported by the Soviet Union, China, and other communist powers. Today, 50 years later, we honor those who fought the good fight against tyranny and the spread of communism that threatened liberty globally. President Trump signed the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017. It designated every March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day.
And I just want to thank these 7 very brave people for being here. I got to know them for a few minutes up front, and they are definitely tough, smart cookies. We like them. I think they like me, too. I'm not sure, but I think.
Mr. President, from my heart, thank you for your 1,000 heroes who never made it home. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Come here.
March 29, 1973 was chosen to be observed in perpetuity because it was the day the U.S. Military Assistance Command in Vietnam was terminated and the day the last U.S. combat troops departed Vietnam. On and around March 29th, Hanoi released the last of its acknowledged prisoners of war, but the last U.S. personnel were evacuated from Vietnam in April 1975 with the fall of Saigon. Many veterans returned home to an anti-war culture and did not receive the hero's welcome they deserved for their courage. More than 3 million Americans served in the Vietnam War, 1.5 million of whom actually saw combat. By the war's end, 58,220 American soldiers had been killed. The toll the war had taken on our troops was great.
It is a terrible truth that suffering is so often the price of freedom. But freedom is indivisible. To protect it in distant Asia is to maintain it here in America.
Today, 50 years later, we remember those who answered the call of their country and humbly thank those who sacrificed their bodies, minds, and youth in Vietnam. Zach Peterson, One America News.